Hey guys, I hope you're all having a good day. So I'm starting a new review series on my channel where I'm going to be comparing the original to the sequel, and at the end of the video we're going to find out which one's the better movie, and what better movie franchise to start out with than one of my personal favorites, The Incredibles. And guys, in case you don't know or you want to go check out the video again, I did a little vlog review video with my dad of Incredibles 2. So if you want to go check out that video, the link will be in the description. And guys, with this video I'm going to be comparing 4 things. And the things that I'm going to be comparing will change depending on which franchise I'm comparing. And the things I'll be comparing with The Incredibles is the story, the comedy, the action, and the villain. And let's get right into this video. The story. Both movies had great stories. Just a problem that I felt with the first Incredibles story, that it felt a bit too all over the place. I did like the scenes of the family not being superheroes and just living normal lives. That was super cool, and you don't really see a lot of that in superhero movies of superheroes just living normal lives. So I really liked that. I also like the scenes of Mr. Incredibles training and getting back into being a superhero. That's super cool. You also don't see that a lot in superhero movies. Basically, the first Incredibles movie did stuff that you don't see a lot in like superhero movies, like in the Marvel movies or like in the DC movies. That's why it's kind of a unique movie. I just felt that Incredibles 2 had a way better story. It was easier to follow. It also had a great side plot of Mr. Incredibles just being a stay-home dad, and also of Jack like figuring out his powers and stuff. That was super cool and hilarious. It's just super nice that you had like a side plot and a main plot, a main story and a side story. Like the main story of like Elastigirl being a superhero again and trying to bring supers back into the spotlight was super nice. Also nice that it was a girl superhero instead of a boy. Nothing against boy superheroes because I'm a boy, but like it's nice to see girl superheroes be in the spotlight and stuff, because you don't see that a lot. I mean, there has been a Wonder Woman movie, but you don't see girl superheroes a lot. And it was nice to see a dad be like a stay-home dad, because mostly it's girls doing that. So it's kind of nice to see that they mixed it up a bit in Incredibles 2. And also seeing Jack have his powers and stuff was super cool. So I would say Incredibles 2 had a better story. Not saying that the first Incredibles story was bad or anything. It was just kind of hard to follow, but did have good scenes like the family just living normal lives, and of Mr. Incredibles training and becoming a superhero again. The comedy. Both movies are hilarious, both movies are quotable, but I feel like number 2 is a little bit more funny, and number 2 is a lot of great physical humor. And I'm a huge fan of physical humor. I think it's way more funny. Not saying number 1 isn't funny. Number 1 has some great jokes too, and also some great quotable lines. Like especially that joke with Frozone and his super suit. Like me and my dad quote that joke so much, and we always talk about it because it's such a great joke. And they try to redo that joke in number 2, and it didn't really work. Not saying it wasn't funny, but it wasn't as funny as the one in number 1 in my opinion. I mean, I did laugh at it, but I didn't laugh out loud as much as I did with the first one. It just gave me like a little smile and like a little giggle. It wasn't as funny as the first one. But like, both movies are funny, like I said, but I feel like number 2 is just more funny. Like the physical humor is good, and basically every Jack scene in number 2 was hilarious. Like I literally couldn't stop laughing. Like literally, even the theater that I went to go watch Incredibles 2, everyone was laughing at the Jack scenes. Like they were hilarious. And I'm just saying, number 2 had better jokes and stuff. But I will say, number 1 did make me laugh a little bit more. But why I'm saying number 2 is more funny is because number 2 made me actually laugh out loud compared to number 1, where it was more like just like giggles and smirks and like actual laughs out loud. But as I said, number 2 has some great physical humor. But number 1 also did have some great physical humor. It just wasn't as good as number 2 in my opinion. So I will say number 2 is way more funny, and way more better comedy. But I will say the Frozone joke with his super suit is better in number 1 than number 2. Comment down below if you agree with me. The action. Both movies have amazing action scenes, but number 2 is better. This was actually the hardest one to compare because they both have amazing action scenes. But why I'm saying number 2 is better is just because there's more action. Like with number 1, there's a lot of scenes of them like Mr. Incredible's training and the families are living normal lives, which is great and all and really enjoyable. It's just that they only really have their main action scenes in like the beginning and the end. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because also number 2's main action scenes in the beginning and end, and that goes basically for most action movies. But like number 2 just has more action scenes spread out in the movie in between, so you don't get bored of like just seeing Mr. Incredible be like a stay-home dad and that kind of stuff. And that's why number 2's action is better, just because there's more of it. And I'm not saying number 1's action is bad or anything. I really like the action scene at the end of the movie, and the number 1 was great too, but beginning. But like number 2 is better just because there's way more action. And one thing I will say, it's kind of nice that they have scenes like more action than number 1, is because you do get kind of bored of seeing like as I was rewatching the movie, you do get kind of bored of just seeing the family live their normal life, which is great and all. I think that's why a lot of people like the Incredibles movies, because they are just like the family living normal lives, like superheroes living normal lives. But I find it way more enjoyable when there's a mix of them living normal lives and a mix of action. I feel like it's way more better. I feel like number 2 did that way better. So I think number 2's action is way better just because there's more of it. The villain. And normally by now you guys probably know what I'm going to say. Oh, both movies did this well, but number 2 did a little bit better. But that's not the case with the villain. Number 2's villain is so much better. Like, they don't even just up the villain, they completely pooped on number 1's villain. Like, this villain is so much better. Way more interesting, there's a plot twist. Like, you literally don't expect, I'm not going to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't seen the movie, but you literally don't expect who's the villain to be the villain. And that's super cool and super amazing. Like, I love this villain. This villain's probably way better. But I do gotta give credit to number 1's villain. Like, Syndrome's still a great villain. And I love how you find out about the villain's backstory in the beginning of the movie. And then halfway through the movie you find out he's the villain. I do like that. But number 2's villain is just way more better. Way more interesting. Great plot twist. And actually, through the whole movie, you're expecting people, oh, that's the villain, and then it's not. Like, it keeps you on your seat, and it keeps your brain thinking as you're watching the movie. And I really like that. I think it's super great. So number 2's villain is way better. And once you watch the movie, if you haven't watched the movie already, you understand why I think number 2's villain is just way better. Even the name is a bit cooler, like it's called the Screenslaver. And it's kind of like a pun name, and I really like it. So yeah, number 2's villain is just way better in my opinion. But I will say one thing, number 1's villain is way more funny. Like, the Screenslaver wasn't that funny of a villain, but it was a better villain. But it's like Syndrome's a funny villain, but not a super great villain. He's a great villain, but he's not as great as number 2's villain, the Screenslaver. But well guys, that's all I really got to say. So I guess we found out which movie is better. Number 2 is a way better movie, which is kind of surprising because normally sequels are worse than the original, but the Incredibles crew upped the antes and made this movie. This movie is way more better than number 1, which is kind of surprising as I said. But yeah guys, that's all I really got to say. Comment down below if any movie franchise you want me to compare, and that's all I got to say. Peace.